The Championship is back. Waited over 100 days to see Championship football, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint. Dust has settled, the results are in, and we're going to have a little look at some of the key results of the weekend. There was some surprises, there was some ups, some downs, so we'll get into it. If you don't know me already, some of you might already be looking. It's that lad off TikTok who talks about Blackburn. You've got that spot on. Been over there for quite a while, probably a little bit too long, so now I'm over here. I've got to know some really good Championship football fans and fans from all clubs around the country, not just in the Championship. So I thought, what better thing to do is come over to YouTube and try and aim for bigger and better. Gotta aim high. So with this channel, quick recap, it's football, it's Championship, there'll be a bit of Blackburn in there, but there'll be boxing as well. I love boxing. I was at the boxing last week, and one thing I've learned to know with boxing is a lot of boxing fans love football, so let's incorporate the two together. I am going to aim high with this one. Going to get some guests on the show over the next coming weeks, and I'm going to aim high with the guests. If you don't ask, you don't get. Got a couple of potential ones lined up. One's really that I'm punching above my weight, so we'll wait to see if any of those come to fruition. But first and foremost, into the Championship season. It started Friday night. My team, Blackburn Rovers, travelled to Molineux, newly relegated Wolverhampton Wanderers, and look, we all know all the neutrals have Blackburn relegated from day one before they'd even kicked the ball. I had a feeling we might go to Wolves and potentially get something. I wasn't too sure what it would be, but I had an idea we might get something. We'd have a game plan under Tony Mowbray, and could we execute it against a Wolves side that's full of quality at the moment still. So it was a tricky one. It didn't go too well. First 15 minutes we settled all right. We were playing good football. We got caught on the break. Simple, very basic type football goals straight through the middle, split the defence in two, and a nice finish past the keeper, 1-0. But we pulled it back and we grew into the game after that as well. Once we'd equalised, we looked like the better team. We had spells of possession that were really good. We got a lot of joy down the right-hand side, and ultimately it's where our goals came from, both of them in fact. We went 2-1 up. Good Johnson with a really good number 9 striker style finish, but it was all undone and it was all spoilt. In the last minute injury time, the referee has given a penalty. Come on, VAR, we're not going to get into that discussion on episode 1, but it ruined it, and Blackburn were, they came away with a point. It should have been 3. But you've got to feel, even as a neutral, unless you're maybe a Burnley fan, feel a bit hard done by for Blackburn there, but it is what it is. We come away with a point. Adair got even better, continued. Bolton at home to Preston in a bit of a local derby, newly promoted Bolton, and they've got off to a flyer, 3 points with a 2-1 win. Was I expecting it? Wasn't too sure. Preston had a good start to last season, fell away towards the end, made the odd signing so far, but I expected a little bit better of them, and it wasn't to be, and Bolton have come away with 3 points. They have the momentum, and if they're going to stay up next season, it's going to come from home form, so that's a really good start for them. Across the rest of the Championship, apart from a 0-0 draw between Sheffield United and Birmingham, which I didn't see many highlights of. I've heard it is the definition of a ball draw, so we won't spend too much time on that one, other than the fact both teams probably wanted more from that one. And points deduction hanging over Sheffield United, they could have probably done with 3 points. Elsewhere, you had newly promoted Lincoln City. Now, no one really expects Lincoln to pull up too many trees in the Championship this season. It's the first time they've played there, and why not throw them in the deep end with a trip to the Riverside and Middlesbrough? Not just any Middlesbrough side, it's a side where they've invested pretty heavily over the summer. Not just heavily, but very well. They lost Hayden Hackney, they lost Dale Fry. Can you replace 2 homegrown talents? Well, they've gone pretty fine doing that. They've brought in Will Lancashire from Tottenham, who looks pretty special. He looks, I'm not going to say Kane-esque, but there's something about him. It looks different class for the Championship. He's already scored 3 goals in 2 games, including the Cup already. They've strengthened elsewhere in the squad, and for me, I thought they'll batter Lincoln, but no. They came on the back of an unbeaten record of about 28-29 games from League One, and they carried the momentum into the Championship. They took a goal lead pretty early on in the game. I think it was first half, but Middlesbrough just got over the line with about 10 minutes to go, and they've come away with 3 points. This early in the season, that's all that matters. getting those points on the board, and that's exactly what they've done. Will they continue that next week? Hopefully not, because it's at my team Blackburn. They take a trip to Ewood Park, which will be a good game. Normally 0-0, but I'm expecting goals from that one. So yeah, decent start for Borough. Some positives for Lincoln. Now, in terms of Bristol City versus Millwall, I was expecting an exciting game. Bristol have a new manager. They're always there and thereabouts the playoffs, but they never get over the line. And they haven't helped themselves at the weekend. They've got a man sent off when it was probably an even encounter, really. But Millwall have taken advantage of that one, and they've come away with a 2-0 victory and 3 points in the bag on the road. What more can you want on an away trip in the Championship to open the season for you? So yeah, I would imagine Millwall will try and build on that now with the home game coming up. Elsewhere, Stoke City versus Swansea, a bit of a close encounter for me on paper, but look, Stoke are making it hard for themselves. Can't remember when the last time they've really found some proper momentum in the league, and it started badly for them. Swansea have spent a bit of money over the summer, and you could see that bit of quality that they had in the side. And to come away from Stoke with 3 points, they'll absolutely be delighted with that one. We always say, can you do it on a cold Tuesday night in Stoke? Well, they've done it on a not so cold Saturday. 3 points in the bag for Swansea, and certainly work to do for Stoke. You've got Portsmouth near the bottom of the league. Last season they'll be hoping to improve, but they couldn't get off to the fly that they were hoping for. They entertained QPR at Fratton Park. You never know what you're really going to get with a QPR side. I thought it might be a home win, if I'm in all honesty, and it wasn't to be. They've been quite comprehensively beaten in the end, 3-1. QPR have brought in a couple of good players over the summer, be it free transfers, but look, they look like a good unit really, and they've come away with 3 points. They'll be delighted with that one. To round off the remaining fixtures and results in the Championship, we had Norwich City versus West Brom. Now, West Brom are my pick to do pretty well this season. They're going to be the surprise package. James Morrison has been appointed as full-time manager. He took over in temporary charge towards the back end of the season, and he kept them in the league. He did a brilliant job. The owners have now trusted him with running the club, or the team in fact. I think they've got good things going on at West Brom. Seem to trust him. He seems to know what he's doing. And look, did we expect a 2-1 win at Norwich? Probably not. Norwich, a lot of their fans are quite boyish on how they'll do this season. They've got a lot of quality in the team. They're adding to it. But they haven't got off to the start that they were looking for. They've made it difficult for themselves. And West Brom have come away from there with a very, very good 3 points. Anyone that goes to Norwich this season and gets 3 points, they'll be on to a good season in my opinion. A couple of other tricky games was Burnley. Obviously they're relegated from the Premier League. Fellow relegation candidates, West Ham United. Wasn't sure on this one, but West Ham have got off to a flyer, 2-0 up at Burnley, and it looked like they were going to go on and probably finish this one off in style. But Burnley, fair play to them, showed a bit of character under new management. That team's still in a bit of a transition phase. They've lost a lot of players and they're bringing players in. So to come back from 2-0 down at home to West Ham, which is a team full of quality, and draw 2-2, I think they've done pretty well there. So yeah, both teams I expect to go pretty well in the Championship. West Ham's definitely has to be my tip for picking up the title. Burnley, I'm not too sure where they'll finish, but I think they'll be around the playoffs definitely. Southampton, can we mention them still? Obviously the Spygate scandal towards the back end of the season, which is kind of supposed to have been pushed under the carpet a little bit. The only problem they've got, the manager has a charge hanging over him. No one really wants that at the club. We want everyone, even the neutrals, just want this wrapped up, put to bed, drawn a line under and just move on. But Southampton haven't been able to do that. They've started the season on -4 points. The manager's waiting to see what's going to happen with him. Is he facing a ban? It's not the preparation that they needed to go to Watford away. Watford have had a few transfer dealings over the summer, but they've got off to a fly with a home win there, and it's a big win as well against Southampton. I think once the dust settles with Southampton, they know what's happening with the management. they get the transfer dealings completed before the end of the transfer window, I think we'll see a much better Southampton side as the season goes on, and I do fully expect them to be up towards the top of the league. Top two, probably not in my opinion, but they'll certainly be in and around the playoffs. Not the ideal start, but like I say, a lot of distractions going on behind the scenes there, which they could have done without. So yeah, plenty of goals in the Championship, and it was all topped off last night when Wrexham played Cardiff. Now, I'm not going to go there. It's not a local derby, which I once thought it was. But I did expect this to be a draw. Obviously, Wrexham started this game brilliantly. They looked like they were knocking the ball around really well, really good quality side. But what we've learned over time in the Championship is when you have a 1-goal lead, which they got through Kiefer Moore, that man that always keeps popping up with the goal, you have to finish those games off. And if you don't, you get punished. And it was a great free kick from Cardiff in injury time. But I have to say, the new signing in goal should have got a better hand to that one. Just in my opinion, it's no major criticism. I think he would have admitted that one himself. And Cardiff, newly promoted, have come away with a great point there. And Wrexham, although probably would have took a point away from home, they've got to be disappointed that they've let that one slip. And then finishing off is my old friendly rivals, Derby County. So they travelled to the Valley. They played Charlton. Nathan Jones is Charlton. Again, they had a bit of a tricky season last season, but that was to be expected. The brief last year was just Charlton stay in the division. They did that. They'll be looking to build on that. They've done it in terms of the first game. Derby County have gone there expecting all 3 points. Took an early lead under Sam Smodics, and fair play to Charlton. They've come back from a goal down and they've won 2-1. It's a massive win for them. And one thing I'll say about Derby County, obviously this takeover, if it was ever on, has now fallen through. There will be pressure on John Eustace if he doesn't get things right early on, because I followed Derby quite closely last season. I've seen some of the fan base were moaning about decisions that Eustace was saying or the things he was saying in interviews after a defeat. But look, towards the end of the season, it started to come right for them. I thought they were unlucky not to get into the playoffs, and at one point it looked like they might. So look, they've got a decent manager there. I'll admit that myself. He's former Blackburn. He's a decent manager. They brought in a couple of good players, and I expect them to bring in a few more as well. So you'd expect Derby to go well, but if it doesn't go well early on, that pressure will be on John Eustace. In terms of Charlton, brilliant win for them to kickstart the opening day of the season. Again, another side that home form is going to be integral to them surviving next season. They need more quality in the squad. I'm sure they'll look to add that over the coming weeks. But overall, 3 points for them. Bad start for Derby. Can they pick up next week? But yeah, like I said, the Championship has not disappointed this weekend. Apart from 1 goalless draw, there's been goals in every game. There's been some surprises. Look, I'm happy. My team's got a point away to Wolves, so you've got to take those points when you're a Blackburn Rovers fan. But if you don't follow me, or you like the sound of some Championship football talk mixed in with a bit of boxing talk, please subscribe. I'm going to be looking to make 2 or 3 videos a week, and I'd love your support as I look to grow and learn as I go as well. So thank you very much.